again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford, and along with all of us here on Monday Night Football, we're delighted you're with us once again. We think we have a very interesting game coming your way tonight. Not a whole lot at stake. Quite frankly, the Raiders, they need a victory tonight to ensure that they are not going to have to go down and play Miami a little later on in the playoffs. The Rams, they know they're going to play Dallas right here. You talk to these players, and you don't feel there's any rivalry involved, but underneath you feel that there is some sort of thing going on. The players don't seem to be involved in it. The fans, quite frankly, are. We saw a sign a few moments ago. It said, "Peace on earth and kill the Raiders." So the fans are into it, whether or not the players are or not. I have a feeling that deep down that all of them really want to win this football game. The final game of the season. Great players involved. Marcus Allen with his efforts now to become the NFL rushing champion for 85. There's Eric Dickerson. He has a slight hamstring, but we understand he will start. And, of course, two very unusual quarterbacks. And to tell us about the two quarterbacks we'll watch tonight, Joe Namath.
And, Frank, they are two unusual quarterbacks. First, let's start with Mark Wilson. You know, when he took over the offense for the Raiders after Jim Plunkett got hurt in the third game of the season, he received a lot of criticism. He's only completing passes at a 48% rate, and when he took over for Jim was throwing at a 68% rate. But there's one thing that's important in statistics, and that's winning and losing. In the 12 games Wilson has started, he's won 10 of them and only lost 2. If Wilson gets hot, these Raiders can win the Super Bowl. On the other hand, Dieter Brock, in his first year of the NFL, has received a lot of criticism. He's too small, he can't throw the ball. Well, I'll tell you something. In the last 4 weeks, he's passed the ball better than any other quarterback in the NFL. And right now, he's second only to Joe Montana in the NFC. And that's pretty good quarterbacking for a first-year man. He's also won the divisional championship. The team that'll win tonight is the team that has the hot quarterback. And now, here's a great running back to tell us about a couple of pretty good running backs, O.J. Simpson.
Well, you know, Joe, I agree with you. I think it's the play of the quarterbacks that's going to determine how far these teams are going to go in the playoffs. But it's tough for me to get excited about names like Brock and Wilson when they got names like Dickerson and Allen in the game. Dickerson is nursing that hamstring. I don't expect him to be worked too much tonight. He seems to have shaken off the ill effects of training camp this year, missing the training camp. He's had over 400 yards in his last 4 games. So that's good news. He should be ready for that Cowboy game in a couple of weeks. As far as the Raiders are concerned, it's a more important game for them. They feel that they're going to eventually play the Miami Dolphins, and they don't want to go to Miami. No one wants to play the Dolphins in Miami. I think just as important as winning this game for them, the teammates of Marcus Allen would love to see him get those 84 yards that he needs to overtake Gerald Riggs and win his first rushing title, as well as the 79 yards he needs to overtake Eric Dickerson's all-time combined yardage record. In any event, it should be well of a football game. So, Gifford, why don't we get him started?
All right, Simpson. And a moment ago, it could only happen in Southern California. Of course, they have him on water skis down in Miami. But to get the evening underway, Santa Claus dropped in, hit right on the 40-yard line. You know that Gerald Riggs will be watching tonight. We congratulate him on a great effort, no matter how it turns out between Gerald Riggs and Marcus Allen. As we look down on the field, you can see the Raiders will be receiving. Mike Lansford will kick off, and Sam Seal is back there with Fulton Walker, who set the Super Bowl record for returns 3 years ago with the Miami Dolphins. He is now a Raider. Lansford gets it underway. Lansford to Walker. And there's a big opening. And Walker finds the opening down the sidelines, out over the 40-yard line before he steps out of bounds, and chased out of bounds there by Nolan Cromwell. So a good return and good field position for Mark Wilson. He gets a final word from head coach Tom Flores and steps into the huddle. And he has been much maligned here in the Southern California area, but the key thing is, and Joe touched on it, he's 12-2 this year as a starter. He does not look all that pretty getting it done, but he gets it done, and that's what gets you into the playoffs, gets you into Super Bowls. A 41-yard return for Fulton Walker. On first down, Wilson will put it up in the air. 5 over the middle, complete to Marcus Allen. Allen is to midfield and in Ram territory near the 49-yard line for a first down, or very close to it, perhaps a half a yard short, as Carl Eckern was there defensively. We'll look at that defensive alignment. We, of course, will see the fourth defensive man in often. We'll see Kevin Green and Gary Jeter in there tonight. There are the secondary. Leroy Irvin on the way to the Pro Bowl for the Rams, and this is his 3rd year as a starter at cornerback. Second down and about a yard. Marcus Allen. Big yardage inside the 35-yard line as Allen is down close to the 32 for a Raider first down. The Rams are 4th against the rush in the NFL. They are 10th against the pass. And on the left side, Charlie Hanna with a big opening for Marcus Allen.
And a very nice block by number 27, Frank Hawkins, on Jim Collins. It's a simple dive play, as basic a play as you can run, a straight ahead power play, and that's the way the Raiders like to play.
They'll stay right on top of things for Marcus Allen throughout the evening as he attempts to overtake Gerald Riggs. And of course, looking to that all-purpose yardage record. 1st and 10. Wilson is back. A lot of time. Tried to get it to Marcus Allen, and almost intercepting was Gary Green. It's incomplete.
Well, that was a bad decision. We were talking about Wilson earlier in the show. He's one of the few quarterbacks that have thrown more interceptions than he has touchdown passes, and that time it was a simple zone defense. The cornerback, Gary Green, fell off the wide receiver, and he's out there waiting along with Marcus for the football. It's a good thing it wasn't intercepted.
Wilson, of course, has been around a while, a #1 draft pick in 1980. He has been handed the starting assignment a couple of times previously, and each time Jim Plunkett would come back, rise like the Phoenix, and take the Raiders on to victory. But right now, Plunkett remains on the injured reserve. 2nd down and 10, and Allen is nailed at the line of scrimmage. Eckern was there. There'll be no gain, and he might have lost a half a yard. Jim Collins also there defensively, and the Rams' defense is a fine defense. So is the Raiders' defense. But, boy, they are nothing at all alike. The Rams play a lot of zone. They play pretty much, well, what you would expect a 3-4 team, whereas the Raiders, they move all over the field. It looks sometimes like it's totally out of control, but nevertheless, it is effective, and it is under control. We have a 3rd down and 10. Jesse Hester, the rookie from Florida State, up at the top of your screen, the #1 draft pick, having a fine year. Dokie Williams, 85, is split to the right. They are the wide receivers. Wilson tried to sneak it into a crowd to Todd Christensen. Mel Owens was there. Gary Green was there. And what Joe touched on a moment ago, you saw Mark Wilson try to do again.
He's trying to stick that ball in there, but I tell you what, he had good pressure on him from Charles DeJournette that time, who got up in his face and he couldn't see very well downfield. But his selection of receivers hasn't been good all season.
Well, I tell you one thing about this game. The key to the Raiders is going to be Todd Christensen and Marcus Allen on short passes, and the strength of this Ram defense will be their linebacker. So it should be an interesting matchup.
50-yard attempt for Chris Barr. He's not noted as a long kicker. Got a lot of foot into this one, however. And in doing so, he pulls it off to the left. So the Raiders open like gangbusters. They have to settle for the missed field goal. We'll be back with the Rams' first possession. Raiders in Los Angeles. It was really some comeback. The Rams have the ball at their own 32-yard line, the line of scrimmage for the missed attempted field goal by the Raiders. 1st down and 10. Dieter Brock brings them up, and Eric Dickerson is in the lineup. We don't know how long he'll be there. Concern, of course, for the hamstring of Eric Dickerson. In motion, and Dieter Brock is back on 1st down, fires out into the flat. The attempt is to Tony Hunter. Brad Van Pelt was there.
Well, Dieter's a little upset with himself because he threw it behind the receiver, but frankly, I'm surprised to see Eric Dickerson in the game, because if there is concern, they should be resting him for the playoffs.
Well, I don't think he'd be there unless he didn't tell the coach that he felt perfectly healthy. I agree with you. I wouldn't work him too much. He's finally seemed to have his rhythm back since missing training camp, but the big game is 2 weeks from tonight, not tonight.
There are some things in that offensive line we'd like to tell you about. We will in a moment. 2nd down and 10. Dickerson. Roaring out of the backfield, up close to a Ram 1st down, hit there by Otis McKinney. Dennis Harrah is in the offensive line.
He's a mini refrigerator coming out of that backfield blocking.
1st and 10 inside the 43-yard line of the Rams. If you've just joined us, no score. The Rams and the Raiders of Southern California. Dickerson. And Dickerson gets into Raider territory near the 49-yard line. Short of the 1st down by about a yard and a half. Dickerson, of course, had a celebrated holdout. He did not play in the first 2 Ram games. He came into tonight with a little over 1,100 yards, 5th in the NFC, and after leading the NFL for the past couple of years, and of course setting that single season record of a year ago of 2,105 yards. 2nd down, a long yard for the Rams. Hunter, the block inside for Dickerson. He is nailed and hit by one of the toughest inside linebackers in this game, Matt Millen, number 55. And Dickerson, I feel certain, is short of the first down, although we might get a measurement. That's the defensive line, and if you follow the Raiders at all, you know that Howie Long moves all along that line of scrimmage, pecking and looking, finding the weak opponent on the offensive line, and he'll have a difficult time with the Rams tonight because 4 of that members that offensive line are headed to the Pro Bowl.
And that's one of the reasons Dickerson has been so effective, not only his talent, but the guys on that offensive line. Normally when he gets tackled, he's getting tackled by defensive backs, guys who are smaller than he is.
Third and a little less than 1. Dickerson easily has the first down. Bounced off the first tackler, gets the first down inside the 47-yard line.
So it's sort of unusual for a breakaway runner like Eric Dickerson to have to carry the ball that much on third down. He's been pretty effective this year on 11 3rd-and-1 situations. Going into this last one, he got all 11 first downs, so he's now 12 for 12 on 3rd and 1.
John Robinson coached a couple of Heisman Award winners down on that field. You know about Marcus Allen, but Charlie White is with the Los Angeles Rams. Also played for John Robinson, Heisman Award winner. And here is his choice for quarterback, Peter Brock, firing out on the flat to Tony Hunter. And Hunter seems to be improving with each game, fumbles the football, and it's immediately covered. Ellard covers the fumble by Hunter, and the Rams are down at the 30-yard line. Reggie McKenzie made the stop that jarred the ball loose from Tony Hunter. 2 touchdowns for Tony Hunter last week. Of course, he came from Buffalo earlier for Vince Ferragamo.
You know, that was the same play that the Rams tried on first down earlier, and Dieter missed Hunter, but it was a different defense. They got a different look this time, and they made a big gainer out of it.
First and 10, the ball inside the Raiders' 30-yard line. Still no score. First quarter from Anaheim. Great play. Greg Townsend came upfield. Dickerson, the handoff a little late to Dickerson. Dickerson could do nothing with it. He was looking right in the face of big Greg Townsend. And the loss is all the way back, close to the 36-yard line.
Hey, Joe, that's when you were talking about lining up, facing the defense. That was a good example of not knowing the defensive personnel that's in the game, because Greg Townsend is a designated pass rusher, and anytime he's going to rush, he's going to go upfield and outside, so you shouldn't try to run sweeps on him.
He ran right past David Hill. This is what the Raiders love to get you in. Third down and long, and that's what they do to you. Sean Jones was there, and Mitch Willis was first. And the loss now all the way back to the 46-yard line. Another 10-yard loss. They just turn it loose when they get you in a long situation. There's Flores, who, of course, was a record-setting quarterback for these Raiders back in the 60s and had a remarkable career. Only John Madden, Don Shula have been able to have 100 victories in their first 10 years, and Flores is right on schedule for that. Gary Redden comes in for Dickerson on 3rd and 26. Peter Brock is changing something off. Draw play, Gary Redden. Good hard running by Redden, who filled in very well for Dickerson when he was absent in preseason before he injured his ankle, and Redden gets it all the way back to the 33-yard line. And we'll see Lansford, but Redden has given Lansford the opportunity with a fine run on the draw-yard attempt. Steve Dills, the backup quarterback, one of them is the holder. On its way, it'll be short. And it is short, so the Raiders will have the possession at the line of scrimmage. That would be the 33-yard line when we come back to Anaheim. Monitoring Marcus Allen throughout the night. He's rushed for 17 yards. He's had 1 reception for 8 yards. That's what he needs for all the little incidentals he's going for in this spectacular season he's had. He carried the ball in his first 3 years for about 16 times a game. He's carrying it 23 times a game on average this year, and that's Allen right up the middle to the 39-yard line. He'll get a long 6 out of that. Jim Collins and Charles DeJournay in on the stop for the Rams.
Well, of those records that Marcus is trying to equal or surpass, the toughest one would seem to be tying Walter for consecutive 100-yard games, because this Rams defense has only given up 100 yards to one runner this year, Gerald Riggs.
Took him 41 tries to get it.
2nd and 4 at the 39-yard line. Play action. Wilson fires out of the flat. Goes out there to Dokie Williams. And Williams will have the first down up at the 48-yard line. Dokie Williams has had quite a year. He just keeps getting better each year. He's now in his 3rd year. Did not play that much at UCLA. More of a track star there. Triple jumper and long jumper. But he has 46 receptions into tonight. That was his 47th of the season. And each season he is improved on the last. Both teams moving back and forth in the middle of the field. 1st and 10. Wilson had it into Todd Christensen. It was almost picked off. Mel Owens stepped right in front of it and should have had it. Couldn't hold on to it.
Well, you know, when a quarterback gets the feeling that he can throw to a particular receiver almost any time, sometimes he makes a mistake and tries to force it. And that's what I've seen Mark do the last 2 plays. Christensen has a wonderful technique of being able to find the dead spots in the zone. But the Rams know that, and they've tightened up their linebacker zones when Christensen comes into them, and the last 2 have nearly been intercepted.
2nd down and 10. Wilson back once again. Christensen over the middle. Christensen into the night. 78 receptions, looking to become the first player ever to have 3 seasons of 80 receptions or more.
He's got his work cut out for him tonight, because as we mentioned before, this Rams set of linebackers, they are excellent in covering that short pass. And to me, the Raiders, they live on throwing that short pass to Marcus and to Christensen. If they want to take advantage of these linebackers playing tight, they got to send Marcus downfield on a long pass. I think he can outrun some of these guys.
Hester goes left. Dokie Williams right. 3rd down and 4, and Wilson is back again. Wilson stays on his feet. And perhaps a first down. It will depend upon where they mark it. He knew where he had to go. Doug Reed was the first one to get to Wilson. His contract that will carry him for 4 more years. Meanwhile, the Raiders have a 4th down at about a yard.
And they should take a penalty for too much time here to try to draw the Rams offside.
That's what they will probably do, but they go ahead and snap away. Ray Guy, who's having a great year for the Raiders, looks for the corner. He wanted it in close. Let's see where he'll get it. Somewhere around the 10-yard line. They'll mark it at the 9. Ray Guy, his net the best in the AFC, and he's been around a long time. And 5 minutes and 3 seconds remaining in the first quarter. The game between the Rams and the Raiders. Rams have the football. 1st and 10. The ball is at their own 9-yard line. Dieter Brock, the quarterback, for many years a Canadian Football League star, and John Robinson's choice to direct the Rams. Brock to Dickerson. And Matt Millen coming up underneath, bending Dickerson after a gain of 2. It'll be 2nd and 8. Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports, Olympic medalists and world champion figure skaters, including Randy Gardner, 30 Eastern and Pacific, 3:30 Central Time. They mark it at the 13, so it'll be 2nd down and 7. Dickerson will work right once again. Just powers his way behind the block of Jackie Slater. David Hill over in the right side, short of the first down, out over the 17-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 2.
Well, it won't be long before Dieter Brock starts trying to test the cornerbacks, Mike Haynes and Lester Hayes. Now, I know they've been all pro, but they have Ron Brown and Henry Ella to cover. And a lot of times so far in this first quarter, they're one-on-one on the outside.
Raiders in the Pro Bowl will be Todd Christensen, of course, Marcus Allen. Howie Long was there. Mike Haynes made it from the defensive unit of the Raiders. The Lester Hayes did not make it this year. Timeout. The Rams use a timeout. Their seconds were ticking off in the 30 seconds to the Raiders. Players have been very cool. I've talked to several of them since I've been here in town, and they're not going to say anything. I think they probably had word from on high, just keep it cool, let's keep it calm. But when you get into real personal conversations with them. You know they'd like to win this game. There is no love lost at all between these two football teams. The Rams now have a 3rd down and 2. Dieter Brock has Eric Dickerson as the single setback. Lamb moving on the line. I think you saw it. The flags are down.
The Rams are going to be able to run this play pretty soon. I mean, they had to call a timeout shortly a little while ago. They wasted a timeout because either the wrong play was set in or they didn't have the right personnel. And here they foul up the snap count. It's really not an indication of a quality
left guard
playoff team, these last 2 plays that the Rams have had.
No one ever said they were pretty, but they are here. There's Jim Plunkett and, of course, Jim Garner, who is a great Raiders fan, always on that bench. He wears more than Flores, I think.
Which is Garner?
Hey, I'm telling you, Jim is beginning to look as old as Gardner.
Oh, he got a little round, too, didn't he? 3rd down and 7 now for the Rams. They're back to their own 12-yard line. Plunkett, by the way, could come off of the IR very shortly. Dieter Brock could go on if he gets hit many times like that by Greg Townsend. Oh, he was pounded from the blind side. Gets to his feet, but the loss is all the way back now to the 2-yard line.
And he wasn't by himself because Howie Long ran right over his blocker, and then he ran right over Dickerson. Watch Eric Dickerson on his side trying to block Howie.
Ouch. That does smart.
Yeah.
More than that, it shortens things up for Dale Hatcher, who's having a great year. He'll be the Pro Bowl punter, but he's got a job right now because he can't take his ordinary drop. They cannot put people on the outside. Consequently, Fulton Walker should get good field position for the Raiders. He'll have a good opportunity to bring it back. The wide receivers couldn't come down. Walker stepped out of bounds near the 42-yard line. The picket line was there. But again, when you kick from the end zone like that, you have to bring in the 2 wideouts. That is what punt return people love to see. They know they're going to have an opportunity for the run. And that time, on a 54-yard effort by Dale Hatcher, Walker had a 24-yard return. The Rams and the Raiders. No score from Anaheim. 3:14 remaining in the first quarter. The Raiders have the football inside the 43-yard line now of the Rams. For the Raiders on the line tonight, home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Not having to worry about going down and playing the Dolphins in the Orange Bowl of Miami. Marcus Allen. A lot on the line for Marcus Allen tonight as he twists his way to the 40-yard line. Held for a 2-yard pickup. Marcus Allen, of course, into tonight. Needed 84 yards, and they'll come tough against the Rams to replace Gerald Riggs and win the NFL rushing title this year.
It's quite an interesting contrast to watch the Rams run the ball because they have such a educated running game and speed up front with guys like Kent Hill, opposed to watching the Raiders run the ball because all their linemen are essentially tackles and all they do is run straight ahead power stuff.
2nd down and 8. Draw play, Allen. Slips a tackle. Got away from Eckern at the line of scrimmage and is upfield until he's hit by Wilcher, short of the 1st down, around the 34-yard line. They'll mark it closer to the 33, so it will be about a yard short. Marcus Allen has been great at this game wherever he's played. A former quarterback at San Diego High School, Heisman Award winner at USC. Over 2,300 yards as a senior at USC. Lines up in the I formation, 3rd down and about a yard. Marcus gets the 1st down to the 30-yard line.
And the only time Marcus has an advantage in running the football is on 3rd short situations because both of those guards, Charlie Hanna and Mickey Marvin, and even Kurt Marsh when he comes in, which he normally does late in the game, all these guys were college tackles. They don't pull that well, but on power plays like that, they're at their best.
Sellout crowd here in Anaheim. 69,000 plus. A lot of them late arriving because this is freeway logjam time out here. Nothing seems to move. Christmas shopping and all that. But it is just about filled up. On 1st down, Wilson is back. Marcus Allen. Tries to use a move and slip inside. Nailed there at the 25-yard line by Jim Collins. He'll get 5 out of it. It'll be 2nd down and 5.
Well, I think Mark is getting into the flow of the game right now. He checked the left side that time, wanted to hit a receiver, came back to his right side for his flanker. Way on the right sideline, was covered and dumped it off to Marcus Allen. He actually threw the ball to his 3rd choice that time and got a good gainer.
Yeah, nice 2-yard pass.
Hey, they got 5 out of that 6. I'll take that every time on 1st down.
Hester, the rookie from Florida State, top of your screen. Dokie Williams deployed to the right. That's Hawkins in motion. Marcus Allen, big opening. Carries Johnny Johnson with him all the way inside the 15, down close to the 12-yard line. Deceptively strong is Marcus Allen.
And this man really knows how to hold on to the rock, too. This is the 16th game of the season. In the first 15, he only fumbled 3 times, and that's pretty remarkable for a man that handles the ball as many times as Marcus.
Well, you know, he started getting the reputation of being a fumbler in his first 41 games. He fumbled 27 times, so he's worked on that on the offseason. He's been conscious of it in training camp.
A 1st down for Marcus Allen. He is at the Rams' 12-yard line. That's the end of the first quarter from Anaheim. Beautiful weather out here. We hope you're enjoying our game no matter what kind of weather you're having around the nation. And this ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Nissan, builders of technologically advanced cars and trucks for over 50 years. Raiders 1st and 10. They're at the 12-yard line of the Rams. No score through the first quarter. Surprisingly so. Play action by Mark Wilson. A lot of time. Dumps it off to Allen. This time, fine open field tackle by Mel Owens. Drops Marcus Allen for a loss near the 11-yard line. The Raiders now have 61 sacks. Got a couple here tonight. They have tied the Seattle Seahawks for the AFC lead. The Giants lead the NFL. They have 68. It'll be 2nd down and 14.
On that last play, that was some type of modified screen. Marcus had Mickey Marvin out there. I don't think he used him that well. He should have gone inside of Mickey and set up the block for him.
Dokie Williams splits right by the Raiders. Inside handoff. Frank Hawkins works it to the 15-yard line. Tripped up, gain of a couple. It'll be 3rd and long, 3rd and 13 for Mark Wilson as we look at the numbers from the first half. And there was a lot of pressure on for the first quarter. A lot of pressure on Dieter Brock. And you better believe that you're going to get that from this Raiders defense. They love to get you in a little bit of trouble, 2nd long, 3rd and long, and then really come at you. Right now, the Rams defense is on the line. They're in their prevent with the 6th defensive back in. Wilson with a lot of time. Gets it to Todd Christensen. He gets to the 10-yard line. Gary Green defensively there. We'll see the field goal unit now. And out comes Chris Barr.
He had Jesse Hester working on the left side, and it appeared as if Jesse was going to be his primary receiver. Joey was looking over there.
He ran a great corner pattern, but again, Mark's pulling the trigger a little too soon. With a 3rd down and 12 situation, he wasn't getting pressured. He should have held the ball a little longer and looked downfield toward Hester.
It will be an attempt at 27 yards. Chris Barr missed earlier from 49 yards. And the Raiders put the points on the board first here at Anaheim. Chris Barr good from 27 yards out. The Raiders leading the Rams 3-0. We'll be back in a moment. Players have ever returned 4 kickoffs for touchdowns in a single season. Ron Brown, who is deep now for the Los Angeles Rams, has already brought 3 back this season. Tonight will be his last night to join Travis Williams and Cecil Turner, who did it earlier. Williams with Green Bay, Turner with the Bears. And here he is, Ron Brown, the Olympic gold medalist in the 4x100 relay. And he'll bring it out from the end zone. It opened for a moment and then closed ever so quickly. And Brown works to the 23-yard line where it'll be 1st down and 10 for the Rams to trail the Raiders 3-0. ABC's college football. 1st and 10 the Rams, and again Dieter Brock did not have the right personnel. This time it wasn't the 30-second clock ticking. There was a special performance by Scott Hamilton Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports. 1st and 10 the Rams. They now have 11 people on the field. They're at their 23-yard line. Dickerson piled up over the right side. Reggie McKenzie, a rookie out of Tennessee, a 10th round draft pick who's played great football for the Raiders this year for a rookie. Certainly has to be considered for MVP defensively on the rookie team. Had a brother, Raleigh, was an 11th round draft pick in Washington that made the Redskins ball club. Second down and 10. Two tight ends, Tony Hunter and David Hill are in. Peter Rock almost intercepted by Mike Haynes. They were trying to squeeze it into Ron Brown, and interesting as we look at the delivery of Dieter Brock. George Allen was in the booth right before the game started, Joe, and I'm telling you, relaying what you said. When we had somebody this short who threw the ball sidearm like Dieter Brock, and I watch you kind of throws it sidearm. He said, and that ball was deflected, by the way, and that's what George Allen said would happen. He said, you'll get a lot of that. He used to say, I would tell Dave Button, my big defensive tackle at the Redskins, just get a little yardage upfield and put those big hands up.
I wonder how Eddie LeBaron ever played the game. And Billy Kilmer
didn't play for George Allen, but Kilmer did. As you get a 3rd and 10, the flag is down, and so is Dickerson. Out at the 24-yard line, but a flag is down, and it's downfield.
Well, it looked like one of the Raiders jumped off sides on the left. He got back, but Stacy Turan started moving on the right, and I don't think he got back.
The odd couple, Donnie Osmond and Lyle Alzado.
Boy, that is the real odd couple there.
Alzado, of course,
hotter than that.
recovering from a ruptured Achilles tendon. There's some great football for a decade and a half, this man. So it'll be 3rd down and 5 now. Barry Redden is the setback. And they're behind Dieter Brock. Brock rifles one in. It goes out to Ellard. One. Brock had something on that, sidearm or not. He really put something on it to Ellard out at the 41-yard line. But a flag is down. It's going to be holding, and they'll bring it back. But boy, he had smoke on that one, Joe.
He had a lot of heat on it. And, you know, we have to agree with George.
John Robinson nailed him down here as a Ram. He got 37 300-yard games up in Canada over his career. Had a whole bunch of 400-yard games. So he can get it done. Eric Dickerson. On a 3rd and 15, Stacy Turan takes Dickerson at the 23-yard line, close to the original line of scrimmage. The Ram fans are getting a little uncomfortable with what's happening, and the punting team comes on.
Well, the football games are usually won and lost in the pits. I'm talking offensive and defensive line play. Right now, the Raiders are just flat whipping the offensive line of the Rams. The Rams haven't been able to pass protect for Dieter Brock, and they haven't been able to run the football successfully.
A little bit of a haze tonight, a little bit of a fog, but it's been beautiful weather here in Southern California as Dale Hatcher nails one up high. Having a superb year is Dale Hatcher. This is Colton Walker. Walker down at the 33-yard line. But again, I know the weather very severe around the country. Look at it one way. This is our final telecast, and I'm going to be looking for me a mountain to slide down somewhere. Sun Valley, Colorado, in the country. They still have it up there. We really feel for them. They're wonderful people, great football fans. 1st and 10, the Raiders. They lead 3-0 over the Rams. Wilson. Hester is there. Jesse Hester beat Leroy Irvin, and a beautiful pass by Wilson. He had it right on stride as the rookie from Florida State reached out, pulled it down, was dragged down by Irvin, but not until he was inside the 10. It'll be 1st down, goal to go. And Joe, he couldn't throw this any better.
And Leroy Irvin knew he was beaten. He actually committed a foul down here. Right there, you see him committing the foul, but the ball was still out in front. Beautifully thrown pass, and Hester can flat get it. He just simply runs an outside goal pattern. He will get bumped late again by Leroy, who's a pretty smart cornerback. You see him right here trying to hold him. He knows he's beaten. And Mark is strong enough to get the ball out in front.
1-on-1, the quarterback gets a lot of time to throw the ball. He throws it perfectly. You're going to beat any cornerback. 1st down, goal to go. Marcus Allen down to the 3-yard line, make it the 2 as Carl Eckern made the stop for the Rams. Marcus Allen continues to rumble. He has been the offense. When Jim Plunkett went down in that third game, things changed dramatically with this football team. I mentioned earlier that Allen had been carrying the ball 16 or 17 times in each of his previous 3 years per game. He's up over 23 carries per game.
I'll tell you one thing, Frank Hawkins, the fullback, number 27 for the Raiders, and the 2 inside backers for the Rams, Jim Collins and Carl Eckern. It was Eckern on the last play. They may be going on a honeymoon together after this game is over, because they're really kissing each other on these inside running games. I mean, they are really tagging one another. And that's from Hawkins. Believe me, they just hit each other.
Sent off the field by the official. He didn't want to come off, and the official saw the blood and sent him off. It's second down, goal to go. Hawkins, he's nailed right at the line of scrimmage. It'll be third down, goal to go. There's the drawing board. Tom Flores going back to it. That's Rusty Hilger, the rookie quarterback out of Oklahoma State. And 3 tight ends remain in. And there was actually a loss of about a yard on that play. We could see Wilson with some kind of a rollout. Tried to get it to Allen, incomplete. It's fourth down, goal to go, and we'll see the field goal unit.
Well, he had his choice of receivers on that play. Both Hawkins and Marcus was open on either side of the linebacker, and it looked as if he couldn't make up his mind which one he wanted to throw to.
Well, there was definitely some confusion. I saw Mark Wilson after the play motioning to Marcus like he should have ran a flat pattern or an out pattern, but meantime, he was wide open. All he had to do was drop the ball over the defender's head for 6 points.
Chris Barr has missed from 49. He hit from 27. This attempt from 21.
Another work.
And it's picked off. Gary Green intercepted it. I don't know whether that's credited as an interception or not. We'll have to find out. Mark Wilson, the holder, and Chris Barr, the intended receiver, and that's a good way to lose your kicker going into the playoffs. Had he caught that football, they would have buried him right there. It would have been a little monument. Said, here lies Chris Barr. No longer does he kick field goals. The fake field goal, and that fooled no one. Gary Green put the pressure on Mark Wilson, and it was picked off and intercepted by Newsom. Well, the Rams have a first down, and they got out of that without giving up any points. Dickerson works for a yard. It's second down and 9, but this game is being dominated thus far by the Raiders. Now let's go back and pick up the fake field goal. Like Wilson was going to try a lateral to him. We'll try and find out from the bench if that was a fake or whether it just was something Chris Barr did extemporaneously. Second down, here's Dickerson. Dickerson to the 10-yard line.
Boy, if the Rams had an option pass, or they should run a play-action pass or something, because on every play it appears as if the Raiders are bringing up their defensive backs, especially their safeties. Mike Davis is back playing again after missing about 5 weeks with injury, and on the first 2 plays, he's just, when the ball was snapped, he just came across the line of scrimmage.
And that means they have one-on-one on the outside with Ron Brown and Henry Allen, and why they're not throwing the football to those wide receivers deep, I don't know.
They're down in 7. Brock, a lot of pressure. Down once again at the 1-yard line. Greg Townsend was in on Dieter Brock, and he had a lot of friends with him.
I think that's the reason why he's not throwing the football deep.
Well, it's hard to believe they can't give him any time. They got 4 offensive linemen, as Frank said earlier, who are going to the Pro Bowl.
Out comes Hatcher. He'll be kicking once again from the end zone, and Fulton Walker will align himself up at just about midfield. And again, the Rams will not be able to send those 2 wide men down. They pull in tight because they can't take the depth that they'd like to for the punter. But Hatcher nails another beauty. Walker at the 44-yard line of the Raiders. Gets it back to the 46-yard line, where it'll be first down, and good field position once again for the Raiders. They lead 3-0. 6:38 remaining in the first half from Anaheim. And we're going to pause 5 seconds and allow the Raiders of Los Angeles The Raiders lead 3-0, and they are dominating the Rams here in the first half. They just have not put the points up on the scoreboard. They had what appeared to be a fake field goal misfire a short while ago. They send Marcus Allen on 1st and 10 down to the 42-yard line for a gain of 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. But again, on the line for the Raiders tonight. An opportunity with a victory to secure home field advantage throughout the playoffs should they travel all the way to the Super Bowl. They don't have to think if they win tonight about going down and meeting the Dolphins in Miami. The Rams have already secured their first playoff game here against the Dallas Cowboys. 2nd down, 7. Wilson. Hawkins. Good running by Hawkins inside the 40-yard line. Broke the tackle of Mike Wilcher, who ordinarily is a very sure tackler. To add yardage inside the 40. It'll be 3rd down and 2.
These Ram linebackers are just about the best tackling group of linebackers I've seen in the league. But Frank, you made mention that the Raiders are dominating the Rams, and I agree with you, but the score is only 3-0. And this Ram team, they remind me of the Broncos in that they can get beat up and down the field for most of the game, but somehow at the end of the game they end up winning. As
Marcus Allen is limping off the field, and they're looking at him on the sidelines. Mark Wilson is back. It's 3rd down and 3. He just threw it out of bounds.
Why wouldn't that be intentional grounding?
Well, because it was handled quite nicely there by Matt Millen. He was open. You could have to admit that, Joe.
Matt Millen, yeah. Right on the sideline.
Flag is down at the 45-yard line. And holding against the Raiders.
There wasn't a receiver within 10 yards.
Maybe his hip that's bothering him.
Ray Guy having another fine year for the Raiders. 1st round draft pick back in '73. Quarterback out of Southern Mississippi. Got another one on the way. 4-yard line. He was 3rd in the NFL in getting it out of bounds inside the 20. The Rams, Dale Hatcher ended the night with 2nd in the NFL. Buffalo's John Kidd was leading the NFL and set an NFL record. Rams, once again, deep in their own territory. 1st down and 10. Dickerson. Reggie McKenzie was there first. At 4-5 Raiders. Took Dickerson all the way back close to the 5-yard line, but he had a gain of about 9.
It's about 4 backs in football could have gotten yards out of that situation.
Doesn't look like there's anything wrong with his leg now. That was some mighty fine running.
His old buddy Craig James from his SMU days had quite a year for the New England Patriots. We'll take a look at him at halftime. Well over 1,000 yards. 2nd down and less than a yard for the Rams. 4:20 and the clock is moving, remaining in the first half. This is Dickerson. That'll be close to the 1st down. I think he has it. He is tripped up by Howie Long. Might have to have the measurement. No, the 1st down is indicated.
Well, I think the Rams are going to have to start passing the football again to their outside receivers on the early downs. They haven't been able to sustain any kind of attack so far, and I think that's one of the reasons their Raiders are so tough to run the football on.
Outside man, of course, Ellard and Brown. Peter Brock trying to underhand the ball to David Hill, and it almost looked underhand at that time. Sidearm is getting lower.
As we mentioned before, he doesn't wear too much protection. He has the smallest pads and the least amount of pads as any back in the league.
2nd down and 10 for the Rams. Dickerson. Stacey Turan pulls Dickerson down near the 28-yard line. This time, a pickup of 8. Dickerson has really been hot over the past few weeks. averaging over 6 yards, O.J., in the last couple of games. And a little hamstring pull. We didn't even know whether we were going to see him tonight, but he's running well.
Yes, he's running well. He's keeping his timing, and they want him to be sharp. He has 2 weeks to rest up before they play Dallas. But the thing tonight is the Raiders are playing those safeties so close to the line of scrimmage. If Eric is able to pop the line, there's going to be 1 or 2 guys for him to beat. And I'd bet on Eric in the secondary with 1 guy to beat.
Eric has 51 yards and 14 carries. 3rd down and 2. He will not get the first down. Matt Millen pulled in behind the pulling guard and dropped Dickerson right at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 4th down, and we'll see Hatcher again. And the word is on Marcus Allen that he was kicked in the knee. And you saw him a moment ago. I think it's rather obvious that he will be back. But O.J. touched on the fact that he wears very few pads. Doesn't wear any knee pads. And you're going to pay that price.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Why wouldn't you wear a knee pad?
Well, the only thing it protects you from is a kick in the knee. You know, if you twist your knee, you're going to get hurt. But, I mean, a twist...
or some burns on an artificial surface. Golden Walker needs 5 yards to break the record of Greg Pruitt, also set with the Raiders. What that really indicates is that the Raiders' defense was making the other team punt a lot of times. Hatcher, another fine kick by Hatcher. Ball is loose and covered. The Raiders do cover it. It's still loose, but they have blown the whistle. The Rams get it back.
I tell you, the Rams are like Denver Broncos. They can do it with mirrors. We saw them against the 49ers get beaten for most of the
game for these Rams. Rams get a break. 1:48 remaining in the first half. They're down by 3. 1st and 10 at the 33. The fumble has given the Rams the football inside the 38-yard line of the Raiders. Rams trailing by 3 with 1:48 remaining here in the first half. And keep in mind now, the Rams had to use 2 of their timeouts earlier because they almost had left the 30-second clock run out on them at one time, and on another occasion they only had 10 men on the field. Dickerson to the outside and stays in bounds for first down yardage to the 27-yard line. Reggie McKenzie chased him out of bounds.
Once again, there's no substitution for speed. That play was well defensed by the Raiders. Stacey Turan had containment, and he had pretty good position, but Eric Ben, a 9-0 100-yard dash, man, just turned on the afterburners and got 9 yards.
Bobby Duckworth, former San Diego Charger receiver, but left by the Rams, top of your screen. Dickerson. Back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. He might get 1 out of it. Stacey Turan came around the horn and was there first against Dickerson. It'll be 2nd down and 9. Seconds ticking away. That is what remains in the first half. We're going to look at the playoff picture and talk about the season that we have just been through here on ABC. And a look ahead at halftime, so stay with us. Second and 9. Rock looking into the end zone, trying to get the ball to Duckworth. Overthrown and incomplete, and Duckworth was well covered. Well, it'll be 3rd down and 9. Another 100-game winner within that framework of 10 years that only John Madden and Don Shula have been able to pull off. 3rd and 9. Brock is upended. Good play. Mitch Willis got in there again, and that is really going to hurt Mike Lansford. That's the 4th sack of the night. But that is going to back Lansford up. And let's take a look from the end zone. Mitch Willis, 7th-round draft pick a year ago, has really come on.
In effect, he's really a rookie. He was on injured reserve for most of last year. The Raiders seem to find these guys at 6'7", 280. He reminds you a little of Ben Davis. Davison.
The Raiders have taken time out. They have 48 seconds on the clock. I presume that would be that they feel that The Rams would let it tick down as far as they could before they tried their field goal with Mike Lansford. The Raiders feel that if they can keep some seconds on that clock, they might get the block, and then they clear from 50 yards out. He has won this season at 52, however, and that's his career best. On its way. This one is tied up as Lansford ties his own record. 43 seconds remaining. We're tied at 3. Maybe the kind of football game we anticipated. Moving Bolton Walker back out there for the Raiders along with Sam Seal. The Raiders 23-3-1 on Monday Night Football. That is truly remarkable over the years. They have 2 timeouts remaining. Sam Seal from the 1-yard line. Seal out over the 30-yard line. Driven out of bounds there by Nolan Cromwell.
Well, this should be interesting in the second half, fellas. Both of these teams consider themselves quite macho. The Rams' philosophy is to wear you down running the football and take advantage in the fourth quarter. And we know the Raiders historically are a team that likes to beat on you and beat you in the fourth quarter. So we'll find out who's the most macho.
And right now, I'm not too sure I'd be very risky with the ball. The way Mark Wilson's been throwing, with the exception of that one long bomb, I think they'd be pressing their luck to be trying to open up the attack right now.
First and 10, the ball near the Raiders' 34-yard line. Wilson underneath. Incomplete to Marcus Allen. 31 seconds remaining in the half. Marcus does appear to be all right. Concern of getting that knee bumped, and he continues to play with it. It could develop into some swelling. Needs 13 total yards from scrimmage to break the record set by Eric Dickerson of a year ago. We were there on the night he did that. Second and 10. Wilson. This time it's Marcus Allen who holds on. Out over the 40-yard line to the 41. It's a gain of about 7. Irvin made the stop. NFL passing champion for 1985. Third down and 3 for the Raiders. 18 seconds. Christensen is open, and does he hold on? Christensen to the 34-yard line, and he took quite a shot.
What's going to be interesting is that the ball went up in the air. He definitely let it go, but I don't know if it ever touched the ground. I mean, it fell right back down on his chest.
We can see from the reverse angle. I think he went down. The ball fell right on his chest. Wilson got it in there. Christensen had to know he was going to really get hit. Anytime you're in that kind of a position, I'll tell you, that's a great effort. Oh, it's still there. It looks even more dramatic in slow motion. 25-yard pickup. I've seen him do that several times. Many times in the end zone.
That's concentration.
He is hit from 27 yards out. He missed from 49 in the first quarter. He's got this one nailed, and he's got the distance. So Chris Barnes, with 3 seconds remaining in the half, unties this game. The Raiders take the lead once again. And credit that 3 points to Todd Christensen, who has already set an NFL record tonight, becoming the first receiver in this game ever to catch 80 or more passes in 3 consecutive years. Here we go. Ron Brown is deep. They'll not give him an opportunity. And bringing it out is Sean Miller as time runs out here in the first half. No touchdowns involved. Raiders with a pair of field goals lead the Los Angeles Rams 6-3. Sit back, put your feet up in front of the fire, and look forward to what I think is going to be a really hard-hitting second half. No touchdowns throughout the entire first half. Ron Brown is deep. The dangerous return man, of course, from the Rams, looking for his fourth touchdown return. This is Brown from the 12-yard line. And good running by Brown out to the 30-yard line. Never had an opportunity to break it in. A few moments ago at halftime, they retired the
Pleasure playing football with Jack. The 1 year I was here with the Rams, and he was not only a fine football player, but certainly an inspirational leader. Truly a team player.
1st and 10 Rams from the 30-yard line. Dieter Brock squeezes one into David Hill. Again, defenders all around, but Brock was letter perfect to David Hill. Let's look at the first quarter stats. Rams having a very difficult time getting on track, as you can see. Time of possession equally distributed. Now we will dissolve and we'll come up with the halftime stats. Things are still troubling the Rams with their pass offense. They're in minus numbers. Dieter Brock disconnected with David Hill for 7 yards with 2nd down and 3. The Rams at their own 37-yard line. Dickerson. He has the 1st down out over the 40 to the 42-yard line. Reggie McKenzie was there defensively for the Raiders. Both teams 11-4, and again at stake. The one thing that is important here tonight for the Raiders, an opportunity to have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And again, as they look down the road, they very well could be colliding with the Miami Dolphins. And you don't like to do that in the Orange Bowl in Miami. 1st and 10 Rams. Ellard is split to the right. Good rollout by Brock. Gets the ball upfield to David Hill, and David Hill is inside the 40-yard line of the Raiders. That ball was really well hit.
Well, as we spoke of right before the half, the Rams would have to start running some play-action passes, and this is about as fine of executed play-action pass I've ever seen. He had half the team chasing Eric Dickerson on that play, and David Hill at 260 pounds found an opening and 1st down.
19-yard pickup. The 1st down is at the 39-yard line of the Raiders. Raiders leading 6-3. Dieter Brock changing off as he looks over the defense. Rifles a shot intended for Ellard. No chance for Ellard. He extended his body, but he couldn't get there.
Well, they've gone back to the passing game and started throwing it on 1st down, which I think is a wise move. Again, when you have a runner with the greatness of Eric Dickerson, the defense has to be playing running, especially on 1st down, and that's the time to throw the football. He had the receiver open that time. He just flat missed him.
2nd down and 10. Dieter Brock looks it over. Former 3-time MVP of the Canadian Football League. The toss to Dickerson. Rod Martin reaches in. Later saying that they had a loose ball. Dickerson will get a couple out of that. It'll be still long yardage. 3rd down and 8.
It's funny, we've been up here talking throughout the game about the Raiders not wanting to go to the Orange Bowl. Hey, 2 teams that can play the Raiders pretty tough is the Jets as well as New England, and of course the Raiders are going to have to go through one of those teams before they get to Miami, or before Miami gets here.
Bobby Duckworth comes in, number 82, another wide receiver for the Rams. Dieter Brock tried to get the ball to Duckworth. Incomplete. Brock feeling a little bit of pressure, although his offensive line had formed a good pocket for him. Well, will we see the field goal kicker or Dale Hatcher? And it'll be Dale Hatcher. Punting unit comes on for the Rams. It would have been a field goal of a temp of about 53 yards. Dale Hatcher has had a phenomenal year getting the ball out inside the 20-yard line. As a matter of fact, he's had a great year. He's on his way to the Pro Bowl. His 38-yard net average topped the league into the night. This one is just a high towering punt, and Hatcher looks for the coverage, but the ball is bobbled and quickly covered by Fulton Walker. Fulton Walker had a fumble in the 1st half, and that one, I know, put his heart in his throat. We'll be back. Marcus Allen still needing yardage as he has 3 rather unique goals he is ahead of him for tonight. And here comes Marcus Allen. Back inside. Maybe a yard, and that'll be all. It'll be 2nd down and 9. Tom Flores in his 7th year. First 6 years he took Raider teams to the Super Bowl. After the season of 80 in his 2nd year, defeated the Eagles in the Super Bowl 18 over Washington after the 83 season. Remarkable record for such a young coach. 3rd and 8. Rather 2nd and 8. And Hester was bobbling the ball, incomplete. Now it'll be 3rd and 8.
Well, that's the time the Rams happen to have the right defense on for the right play. Mark Wilson appeared to have all the time in the world that time, and that was because he pulled the Ram rushing line by rolling out to his right. But meantime, the Ram defense had a loose zone on, and he just couldn't find anyone open. Dokie Williams went deep. He split the seam, and he was well covered, so he tried to get it to Hester, and just too late and out of bounds. Good defensive coverage by the Rams that last play.
Marcus Allen has 59 yards rushing. He needed 84 to overtake the Atlanta Falcons' Gerald Riggs, brother, for the NFL rushing lead tonight. 3rd down and 8. Wilson is back. Just had to throw that away, and a flag comes down. It comes down late. Green was working against Dokie Williams.
Well, Green ran into Dokie Williams, but it didn't appear as if that pass could have been caught anyway.
That's what they're discussing, I think, at the moment, whether or not that pass was even catchable. Flag did go down by one official, and immediately one of the other officials got in there and wanted to talk it over.
Wilson, you threw a horrible pass. I wouldn't come over and argue.
Would not be caught. No penalty.
Well, there will be no penalty, and the punting unit will come on.
Let someone else argue.
That means Ray Guy and Henry Ellard will drop for the Rams. Ellard was the NFC leader in punt returns into tonight. He's had a touchdown return this season of 80 yards against Philadelphia. He's had one in each of his 2 previous seasons of returning punts, at least one. 2 in 1 year. And Ellard is at the 45-yard line of the Rams with a lot of respect for Ray Guy. He puts up a beauty. It'll take Ellard all the way back close to his own 35. Ellard gave it a look as though it would be to the left, tried to get back to the right and a picket line and nailed at the 40-yard line. 50-yard punt by Ray Guy. 3-yard return by Ellard. We'll be back in Anaheim in just a moment. Down, let's keep it quiet. Let's just go out and play the very best. The fans, however, are really into it. This game's been sold out since October. On 1st and 10, Dieter Brock is back. Looking deep. Trying to get the ball to Ron Brown, and he's complaining he should be getting a flag. Lester Hayes was running stride for stride with him, along with Otis McKinney, who had dropped in and helped from the free safety position. And Lester Hayes stays down in the end zone. He appears to be hurt. Let's take a look at the replay. McKinney nearest to you, and Hayes had a good position on. He was going for the interception. I think Ron Brown got a hand in there to deflect it. And Lester Hayes is still down in the end zone, and they are looking at Lester Hayes.
That's one man they certainly cannot afford to lose in that secondary. Their 2 cornerbacks are 2 of the best in all of football, and that's why they can.
6-3. We're in the 3rd quarter. 10:39 remaining. Rams had the football at their own 40-yard line. Dickerson ran into Reggie McKenzie. He goes down, and a holding call is indicated against the Rams. Dickerson got back to just about the line of scrimmage, and flag is down right in the big pileup, and it will be holding against the Rams.
Hey, Brad Van Pelt, number 91, really did a terrific job of getting penetration that time and forcing Dickerson wide.
Offense holding number 72. 10 yards, 2nd down.
Kent Hill over on the left side. Raiders give you so many looks, particularly in a passing situation. They'll move Howie Long around. They move all of their down linemen around to take advantage of whatever you might be offering them in terms of weaker personnel. You can see the holding right there, I believe.
The holding is on Van Pelt, who did get the penetration. You see Kent Hill being called for the holding penalty.
Raiders now with the 4 down linemen, and they'll just turn it loose. They're thinking nothing but pass and nothing but sack. Peter Brock has the screen called. That was Eric Dickerson. And another flag is down. James Davis got inside the block and made the stop.
Well, Jackie Slater did a good takedown on Howie Long. Howie Long had pretty good penetration.
Rams are going to be back in the Coliseum very shortly.
They're going in reverse.
Saturday on was holding there. That was the man they called. And Lester Hayes back in the game, takes the slight foul.
There's no more colorful player than Lester the Molester Hayes.
3rd down, 24. Dickerson. Dickerson to the 30-yard line. O.J., he may not be hurting, but he looks like he's running very carefully.
Well, he's getting tagged a little bit, and I'm sure, you know, most runners like to carry the ball on 3rd and long situations and get that average per carry up. And the fans are booing Dieter Brock, but I'm sure Brock is telling them, hey, you're not getting hit.
And Brock is not calling the plays. Yeah. Mr. Robinson, the offensive coordinator over here with the Rams, are the people that are calling the plays, not Dieter Brock.
Hatcher's 6th punt of the night.
Come on, Jerry.
That's how you set records, running them back. You make them kick a lot. This is Colton Walker. And Walker with a good return out to the 33-yard line. He caught that ball in a crowd. 44-yard punt by Hatcher, an 8-yard return. To cap a banner season for Marcus Allen. He needs 5 total yards from scrimmage to break the NFL record set last year by Eric Dickerson. He needs 26 rushing yards to lead the NFL for 1985. To take that away from Atlanta's Gerald Riggs. And he needs 42 rushing yards to tie Walter Payton's record of 9 consecutive 100-yard games. Of course, Payton did that earlier this season. 1st down and 10, and there is Marcus Allen. Raiders have the ball at their own 33-yard line. Good play action by Wilson. Tried to go upfield, had to look back to Marcus Allen. There'll be a gain of a couple of yards, and that's all. It'll be 2nd down and 8 as Gary Green was right there for the Rams.
It's hard to imagine that the Raiders can't get the ball downfield to one of their wide receivers, because they're playing Christensen and Marcus so closely on this short passing game. You would think somebody would be open at about 18 or 20-yard turn-in patterns.
You'd think that they got the big gain of the Hester the one time. I'm surprised they haven't gone back to it.
2nd down and 8, Marcus Allen once again. And blow down at the 39-yard line by Jim Collins, who reached out from inside. But Allen will get about 4 out of that. It'll still leave the Raiders with a 3rd down and 4.
That could have been a big game. Bruce Davis, number 79, got his man outside, and he didn't go after him. He waited for him once the guy took an outside rush. Bruce Davis, incidentally, was voted most valuable lineman by his teammates this week.
So Allen does have the record, and now everything that he can add on to that will be just a continuing record for Marcus Allen. What a tremendous year he's had. Third down and 4. Wilson, down he goes. Gary Jeter was there. And some of the anxieties are being released a little bit out there.
There's not a rivalry here. These guys get along beautifully together. What the heck? What do you mean rivalry and we don't like each other?
I'll tell you what's interesting. Don Mosbar, number 72, and then Gary Jeter, 2 former USC guys, saying no love lost.
Up at the Rams' 27-yard line. That was off Ray's foot. Does not travel as the others have traveled tonight. And that bumped into a Raider. That would kill the ball. I think that touched the Raider first. And again, we have a flaring of temper.
Well, it looked like the ball may have hit a Ram also, but I don't think the Raiders had possession of it by the time they went out of bounds.
I agree with you, Joe.
Ben Dright, the official, trying to calm a lot of tempers that have all of a sudden flared in Anaheim.
That's Otis McKinney, who was
Qualifying foul on number 33 on the Rams for kicking. He's disqualified, number 33.
Charlie White, Heisman Award winner, plays it down. The Rams are back. David Hill, and Hill stays on his feet to the 35-yard line, and this thing is getting a little rough down there at the moment. Somebody just reached in and ripped the ball loose from David Hill. I think it was Reggie McKenzie. There was a gain of 8. It'll be 2nd and 2, and we're going to pause 5 seconds. Los Angeles Raiders at stake for the Raiders. Home field advantage in the playoffs. 6-3 game. The Raiders over the Rams. Hard to believe. Not a touchdown scored in 2.5 quarters of play as Eric Dickerson works the right side, looking for a first down up at the 38-yard line. He does not get there. Yes, he does. They mark it up close to the first down, and they'll move the sticks. That's a scoring summary. We haven't even had a lot of threats.
Well, we said these two teams are pretty macho teams. They're accustomed to taking over games late in the football game. I think it's been uncharacteristic of the Raiders. They've been playing a pretty polite game up to now, and now I guess the real temperament and personalities of these teams are coming out.
1st and 10 Rams. Flag is down, and Brock is also down. He was really hit. Reggie McKenzie. That pocket was collapsing, and Reggie McKenzie just bolted in there.
Well, I tell you, this pocket is collapsing with 3 All-Pros up there right now. 3 Pro Bowl selections starting for the Rams in the offensive line. Then this front 3 of the Raiders is mighty tough to deal with.
Offensive holding number 61. Decline the penalty. It's 2nd down.
That's Tony Slayton, the center for the Rams. He, of course, for the past couple of weeks has filled in for an injured Doug Smith, who was elected to the Pro Bowl. Doug Smith had a head injury 3 weeks ago in a game against New Orleans. 2nd down and 15. Ellard splits to the right. There he is, top of your screen. Peter Brock has had little or no success getting the ball wide to his receivers. Dickerson almost popped one. Tripped up there by Jeff Barnes. Dickerson out over the 35 to the 36. It'll be 3rd down and 12.
You know, O.J., you mentioned earlier about this group of linebackers from the Rams being good tacklers. That was one of the finest one-on-one tackles I've seen in a while, made by Jeff Barnes.
Well, he had good position on Eric. Eric didn't have the room that he'd like to have, but as long as they play these guys so tight, I got to think that Eric is going to break one sooner or later.
A great move by Jeff Barnes under the block and right into Dickerson with perfect form.
Absolutely right, Joe.
2 men on Howie Long, and Brock has time. Duckworth comes down with the football, and they're going to give it to him at near the 30-yard line. Mike Haynes was one-on-one with Bobby Duckworth. He has good speed. And the Rams very wisely had 2 men on Howie Long.
It's going to be interesting, Joe. It appeared as if he got one foot down, but of course the official was right there, so he's much closer than we are. It was an excellent catch by Bobby.
I'll tell you, Mike Haynes made a great play on that. He had deep help on that. He just looked into Bobby Duckworth's eyes and waited until he knew the ball was going to be there, and if it had not have been perfectly thrown, he would have picked it off.
Now, that 2nd foot was out of bounds, but Haynes got a hand on him, and maybe that's why the official gave it to him.
The first down is inside the 31-yard line of the Raiders. The Rams on the move. Ellard in motion. Dickerson to the 15-yard line, and yet another flag. Reggie McKenzie made the stop from behind. And the Rams are indicating that the penalty will be against the Raiders. Might have even been a face mask. It looked as though Dickerson's head all of a sudden spun around there as he went through a pileup. Getting a little testy down there.
5-yard face mask on the defense.
Another first down for the Rams. And there is his right foot on the ground. The ball is in his hands. No question.
Another great call by the officials.
I'll tell you, when we look at it in slow motion, you wonder, and then we see it in regular speed, you wonder how they can be right as many times as they are. They have to make that instant judgment. First down Rams. They trail by 3. Rod Martin all over Dieter Brock as he pulled away from the center.
I don't think he was expecting the ball that time, Frank. It looked like Dieter was surprised, and there was confusion in the backfield with Dickerson also.
They have done some strange things tonight, this offensive unit of the Rams. They used up 2 of their timeouts, and well, by the beginning of the second quarter, they had used up 2. They had 10 men on the field at one time. They let the 30-second clock run down, but they are right in it. There was a loss there of 4. It's second down and 14. Ellard in motion. Dickerson. Rod Martin coming from across the field from his right outside linebacking position to make the stop. Dickerson will get a couple out of that. It'll be third down and 12.
I like that call. They had Greg Townsend, once again, number 93 in the game, and they were trying to run a trap inside of him. As I said earlier, he's a designated pass rusher, and he likes to get upfield in a hurry. Played the run very well on that play.
Third and 12. Big play coming up for the Rams. Larry Redden is the setback. Tony Hunter. Another flag is down. It could have been a little pick action against Ron Brown there. He came inside. You saw him, number 89. Hunter came back out underneath him, and we may get the pick play, just like in a basketball call. Now they're going to call a pushing. Let's take a look at it from a look at the defensive secondary, a wide shot. Ron Brown is in motion there. He'll turn upfield. And I think the call will work against him. Tony Hunter coming out underneath that now. There he is, just picking the possible coverage. It would have been Jeff Barnes, and he got a couple of them, including Lester Hayes. And you wondered why Hunter was so wide open? Well, Ron Brown made a good move, but it was just a little too visible. Well, we've seen a lot of that this year. Third down and 22. Redden stays on as the setback. Duckworth in motion. Barry Redden was tripped up. Good tackle. Jeff Barnes with another fine play. Yards in the first quarter. This will be a 40-yard attempt. Dead solid, perfect. We're tied at 6. The Rams and the Raiders. We'll be back in Anaheim in the third quarter. The Raiders and the Rams were tied at 6. Lansford is hit from 40 yards out. He's set to kick off. Sam Seal is deep along with Fulton Walker. It'll be Sam Seal, and he'll stay in the end zone. The Raiders will have the ball at their own 20-yard line. Tough night for passers. Dieter Brock is 6 of 13 for 34 yards. Another 84 yards, and Wilson is 11 of 19 for 126 with the 1 interception.
Well, I think you have to give credit to the defenses in this case. Both the defensive lines have been putting pressure on the quarterbacks, especially the Raiders' defensive line. Mark's had a little more time to throw, but he hasn't found anyone open.
Hester split left. Dokie Williams split right for the Raiders. The wide receivers. Allen. And Allen in the arms of Eckert moves out to the 27-yard line. Gain of 7. It'll be second down and 3.
I would say the biggest difference in Marcus's game opposed to a guy like Eric's is once he breaks that line of scrimmage, Eric has so much explosion from the line of scrimmage to about 8 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. In that area, Marcus is always looking to make a move while Eric is just blasting through there.
He needs 14 more yards to become the NFL's leading rusher for 1985, and he gets the first down at the 33-yard line, close to the 34. Jim Collins made the stop.
And on the other hand, I think the Raiders use Marcus Allen in a more productive manner, or certainly in more ways than the Rams are using Eric Dickerson this season. They throw the football to him. They put him in the passing game more. The Rams don't utilize Dickerson enough, in my opinion.
Allen now needs 8 yards to replace Gerald Riggs as the NFL's leading rusher this season. Raiders first down and 10, final seconds of the third quarter. Marcus Allen. There's a gain of 7 as he moves to the 41-yard line. It'll be third down and 4. Or second down and 4, rather. Raiders might not get another play off. And they're not even going to go into the huddle. So time will run out here in the third quarter. Hard-hitting football game. Not a thing of beauty in terms of offensive talent and skills that we've watched tonight. That they have really been popping each other. We'll be back in Anaheim right after this message. Days away from Christmas. We hope you are enjoying your holiday season. We're delighted you're with us. Watching a hard-hitting football game. Marcus Allen, by the way, of the Raiders. As we look down at the Raiders, looking over a second down and 3, needs 8 yards to become the league's leading rusher for this season. And he's very close to another Raider first down up near the 45-yard line. He will get the first down. And we'll look at the halftime statistics. As I said, it has not been a thing of beauty offensively for either ball club. But then this is a two-way game. The defenses of both teams have played well tonight.
Neither one of these teams got here with offense. They got here with their defense.
First and 10 Raiders. Mark Wilson locks one up. And the intended receiver slipped and fouled Okie Williams, and Gary Green just couldn't overhaul it for the Rams.
You know, Juice, you say neither one of these teams got here with offense. I think you're right about that. That may be a classic indication of why these teams won't go very far in the playoffs. You better have a well-balanced team here in the NFL if you expect to win the Super Bowl playoffs or Super Bowl championship. We mentioned earlier if Mark Wilson would get hot, he has to complete passes at a better than 48% rate to lead this Raider team to the Super Bowl.
Well, he has a 12-2 record at 48%. That is amazing. Marcus Allen. Down he goes, and that should do it for Marcus Allen. He will be the NFL rushing leader for 1985. Let's watch him again. He did it in dramatic fashion. The thing they did this year with Marcus Allen, O.J., they gave him the football more frequently.
And they adjusted some runs to Marcus. Like on that play, that was a trap play, but it was a delayed trap. In the past, Marcus would have come out of his stance running, and he would have gotten to the hole before the guard got there. On that play, he did a hesitation, gave his guards a little room to get to the hole, and he was at the correct distance behind the guard when the guard made the trap block.
You know, it's all a team effort. He's getting great blocking, but you have to focus on Marcus Allen because he has 92 rushing yards at the moment as he goes off the right side, gets inside the 40-yard line for another gain of about 4. And he's getting very close to the 100-yard mark, and that, of course, would be his 9th consecutive 100-yard game, and he would tie Walter Payton for the NFL record with 9 consecutive 100-yarders.
Of course, if he wants to break that record, it wouldn't go into the playoffs. It would pick up again with the first game next year.
He needs 3 yards, as a matter of fact now, unofficially, to tie Walter Payton. About a yard there. But again, you know, we keep focusing on the offensive back as perhaps it has always been in football, but you have to think of the Charlie Hannas, the Bruce Davis, the Mosbars, the Mickey Marvins, the Lawrences, all of them, Kurt Marsh. They're the ones that have contributed to a truly remarkable record for Marcus Allen. You know, they get down, they get dirty, they get ornery, they make it all happen.
And they really don't get their just due until a guy like Marcus comes along, or Eric or Walter Payton, and put the statistics that they put up on the board. And that's when people appreciate those guys up front.
3rd down and 5. Wide open. That's Tim Moffitt, the rookie from Mississippi, and the ball came loose and was covered by a very hustling Jesse Hester. He came across the field and was right there and covered the ball that was fumbled by Moffitt.
Moffitt runs downfield. It looks like he's breaking clean here as he runs by the first defender. Right now, it looks like he can go on a go pattern, but he stops and turns up instead for the completion. I'm not too sure he couldn't have gone downfield for the touchdown, but it's a big gainer nevertheless, an important one.
23-yard pickup by the 3rd-round draft pick out of Mississippi. And the Raiders are inside the 15-yard line. They have a 1st down and 10. This game is tied at 6. They played through 3 quarters and into the 4th quarter without a touchdown. Ray Junkin in motion, and Marcus Allen pulls straight ahead. Down to the 12-yard line, a gain of 2, maybe 3 out of that. And he's ever so close to that 100-yard mark, which will tie Walter Payton. He is unofficially right at 100 yards on 18 carries tonight.
Boy, they're doing some kind of battling down there in the pits right now. That offensive and defensive line.
Macho time.
2nd down, long 8. Hawkins in the flat. Taken down by Mel Owens. Not much doing there. Maybe a yard. Owens took Hawkins right at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down and long once again for Mark Wilson.
Well, it appears both of these defenses tonight, they'll give a little bit in the middle of the field, but when they get down around their goal lines, when they have their back to their own goal line, they seem to tighten up. They just won't break.
There was actually a loss on that play of about a yard. It'll be 3rd down and long yardage.
Hey, wait a minute. Why does my name have to be up there? Why can't you just stop at Walter and Marcus?
It'll disappear quickly enough, I can tell you that. They all do. You won't have to worry about that one. We'll be back in Anaheim in just a moment. A little more than 10 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter. We are tied at 6, but the Raiders are threatening. They have a 3rd down and 9. The ball is at the 13-yard line of the Los Angeles Rams. Good, tough football game. It really has been. For the Rams, really nothing at stake other than bragging rights, personal pride, and there's so much of that in the world of pro football. They're going to beat Dallas here after a week off in the playoffs. For the Raiders, they look for the home field. 3rd and 9. Marcus Allen. Allen taken out of bounds there at about the 13-yard line, and we'll see Chris Barr once again.
Now that's the case again. Mark Wilson, I think, may be coming to his drop-off receiver just a hair early. OJ and I, we're just talking about that. It's one thing to come to your drop-off receiver when the people downfield are covered or when you're getting pressure. This last time, Mark did not have any pressure on him to throw the football.
30-yard attempt for Chris Barr. He's been responsible for the Raiders scoring from 27 and 51. And now he hits from 30. And the Raiders take the lead once again. It's a strange game.
Well, it's strange. That last drive was a typical Ram drive, you know. Run the ball down the field in the 4th quarter. I expect to see the Rams come back and try to do the same thing with Dickerson. Feature him down the field and maybe with 1 or 2 passes.
Rams and the Raiders. Raiders at the moment have the lead 9-6. Ron Brown is back for the Los Angeles Rams, and they would dearly love to have him field the football. And he goes all the way across the field to get it away from Barry Redden. And Brown at the 20-yard line, where Jerry Robinson made the stop. Frank Gifford along with Joe Namath, O.J. Simpson, watching this strange sort of a game, if you will, offensively. 2 very tough defensive teams. They have not been that spectacular all year offensively. The Rams did explode last week in a big win over the St. Louis Cardinals. Their quarterback, Dieter Brock, 13 of 20 last week. He threw for 4 touchdown passes, no interceptions. But this is played very close to the vest tonight. On 1st and 10, Brock is back. That was Ellard stepping in front of Stacy Turan. The pass is incomplete.
Well, it may be a strange game to people around the country, but here in L.A., having watched these defenses play all year and watched these two quarterbacks play all year, I don't think anyone is too surprised around L.A.
In his last play, Ellard didn't get inside far enough, or actually it was a good play by Stacy Turan. He played both receivers and broke up the pass.
2nd down and 10. Dickerson. Head at the line of scrimmage, and he'll squeak a yard out of it. It'll be 3rd down and 9, and that is when the Raider defense has just been all over Dieter Brock as he tries to put the ball in the air on 3rd and long yardage. It's really difficult to do. Matt Millen made the stop there on Dickerson. Eric on the night has 98 yards, while Marcus Allen has his 100. Allen has achieved the 100 with 18 attempts. Eric Dickerson has carried it 25 troublesome times. He has been buffeted around considerably by that Raider defense. 3rd and 9. Barry Redden is in there. Brock trying to get the ball to Duckworth, in and out of his hands. And that will bring out the punting unit once again, which means that Fulton Walker will drop. Been a night of record-breaking tonight. Fulton Walker has broken the record for yardage on punt return for a single season. Marcus Allen has broken Eric Dickerson's record of a year ago from yardage from scrimmage and tied Walter Payton's record for consecutive 100-yard games. Hatcher puts it up. Fulton Walker from the 31. Walker has a picket line set up, but he had too much speed to break it back inside. He could have got more out of it.
Oh, Lester Hayes came back and made a nice block and almost killed himself. I see he's walking off the field with a bad shoulder, it looked like.
Illegal man downfield, so Fulton Walker will have another opportunity.
Illegal man downfield on a kicking team, decline a penalty, 1st down the other way.
That was kind of a poor kick by Hatcher, and Walker had a pretty good return. He brings it out over the 45-yard line, so the Raiders have good field position. They decline the penalty and will be back in a moment. Has been buffeted around in this football game tonight, shaken up in the end zone on a pass coverage a while ago. He's in on the pass blocking team. This is what you have to do with 45-man rosters. There he is with the block. And he suffered from that one, went immediately to the bench, started sucking on the oxygen. Meanwhile, his teammates, his offensive teammates, have the football. 1st and 10, they're at their own 45-yard line. And they have the lead over the Rams, 9-6. Marcus Allen. Allen just exploding over that right side, across midfield. Getting to the 48-yard line. Gain of 8. He's 2nd down and a long 2, and 66,000 plus attended tonight's game. Very few no-shows. 2nd largest crowd in their history here. The game, as I mentioned earlier, sold out since October. 2nd and short. Marcus Allen short of the 1st down by about a half a yard. It'll be 3rd down and short. Midway now through the 4th quarter. And we still have not had a touchdown scored.
Well, this is what the Raiders want to do right now. Try and get the thing going on the ground. They're chewing up the clock as well as gaining yardage. And the Raiders defense, well, they haven't been threatened tonight at all.
Well, I know one team that never made it.
Marcus Allen inside the 40-yard line to the 39-yard line. 1st down Raiders. Johnny Johnson made the stop there. What a year it has been, though. The first 3 years, I think, O.J., the Raiders they just didn't want to give him that football that often.
Well, it wasn't the Raiders'
maybe
style.
thought he was a little fragile or something.
Oh, it wasn't the Raiders' style, and they had that Raider passing game. And, you know, Al Davis' philosophy is we don't take what you give us, we take what we want. And unfortunately, with Wilson and the young receivers, they haven't been able to do that this year.
And Jim Plunkett going down early. There's Marcus Allen once again. Out of bounds right at the line of scrimmage.
Didn't Marcus have a problem holding on to the football early in his career?
Well, yeah, he had, as I said earlier, he had about 27 fumbles in 41 games, but it just wasn't the Raiders' style. This year, after about 5 games, the Raiders had lost and got blown out earlier in the game.
That's not a problem. That's an addiction.
They had some problems earlier in the season, and they just weren't getting the offense. And what they did was they just went to a more conservative offense. They featured Marcus, and Marcus responded.
And more than that, he's fumbled only 3 times this season. That really was an amazing turnaround.
Do you attribute that to concentration or just stronger hands?
2nd and 11. Allen once again. 2 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
Stronger hands. Did you say stronger hands?
Yeah, you know, I mean, a guy fumbles that many times early in his career. Why has he only fumbled 3 times this year? Is he concentrating on holding the football more? Is he exercised? And why does a guy fumble so often early? You're the ball carrier. I don't know.
Don't forget Nightline coming up a little later after your late local news. So stay with us here on ABC.
I like stronger hands, Joe.
Well, you do exercise those hands and fingers.
Raiders are going to use a timeout. And Raiders are down to 1 timeout. They have a 3rd down and 9. They're at the Rams 37 when we come this game between the Rams and the Raiders. The Raiders leading 9-6, have a 3rd down and 8. The ball is at the Rams 37-yard line. The Raiders on the night 4 of 12 on their 3rd down conversions. Frank Hawkins is the single setback. Wilson will have a lot of time. This is Hawkins. And Hawkins will be short of the 1st down, but not by much. And they maybe will mark it even up to where we might need the measurement.
Well, that's good linebacking. Fell into their zone, saw the guy catch the ball under him, and 3 guys was there, you know, to stop him.
They are fine tacklers, aren't they? I've noticed that throughout the entire year in the games we've had with them on television and then watching them. The Rams linebackers are fine open field tacklers, as are their cornerbacks. Gary Green, Leroy Irvin, Nolan Cromwell, Vince Newsom. It'll be 4th down and that much. Raiders leading 9-6. They are the ones who have something on the line tonight. They need this win for the home field advantage to avoid that possible trip to Miami. They're going to go. Hawkins is in there. He's turned into pretty fine blocker with Marcus Allen taking over the bulk of the running chores for the Raiders this season. 4th down, you saw how much. He has the 1st down. Raiders keep it alive and keep the clock moving. Raiders looking to go 12-4 on this season. First down is near the 28-yard line. Miami, of course, is 12-4. But the Raiders win the tiebreaker for home field advantage on the basis of common opponents. Marcus Allen to the 26-yard line. A gain of 2. Carl Eckern is there.
Got to be interesting for the Rams on the sidelines. Their offense, they are getting a bird's eye view of what they normally do to opponents at this time of the game. Eat up that clock. Dickerson. Unfortunately, tonight is Allen.
2nd down and 9. Todd Christensen to the 21-yard line, short of the first down. It'll be 3rd down and a long 3.
They've done a heck of a job of keeping Todd out of the offense tonight.
Well, he's had his share of catches tonight, 4 or 5 of them anyway. Certainly the big catch before halftime when he manned a little corner pattern and made the juggling catch to set up the field goal.
4 to be exact, Joe, and Christensen on the season, 82 receptions. 3rd consecutive year he's had 80 or more. 3rd down, long 3, and Wilson is back. Wants it all. Dokie Williams is there. Touchdown. On a 3rd down and 3. Good call. Dokie Williams sprinting by Jerry Gray, the rookie #1 draft pick from Texas. And a well-thrown football by Mark Wilson. More than that, his offensive line, they're not going to the Pro Bowl. They gave him a lot of time. That was Jerry Gray, the rookie from Texas, a consensus All-American down there for a couple of years. The Rams' #1 draft pick. Williams floating right by him. Chris Barr for the conversion. 3:28 remaining, and the Raiders have taken a 16-6 lead over the Rams. Take a look at it from the end zone.
Well, the first thing and most important thing is good pass protection. Wilson has it, and that day, Dokie just sprints right by the young man from Texas. Oh boy, just ran right by him.
Tough, hard-hitting football game. The Rams obviously thinking something other than pass, so they, I'm quite sure, would not have put Jerry Gray up there all isolated, playing bump and run with Dokie Williams.
It's an underthrow, and he still catches it with ease.
3:28 remaining.
Well, it looks like the Raiders are going to be home.
It's a big home field advantage for the Raiders. Of course, they're going to see the Jets, who've always played them tough. In the beginning of the season, they didn't. But, of course, in that game, I think both of the starting offensive tackles for the Jets did not play. And, of course, New England with the weapons that they have offensively.
Chris Barr brings it. Ron Brown. I think he would have loved to have tried to bring that out. He needs one to tie an NFL record for 4 kickoff returns in the season.
It's my opinion that enough guys don't bring him out of the end zone. When I was a kid, I'd sit at Kezar Stadium, and I don't care where the ball was kicked in the end zone. Abe Woodson would bring that ball out of the end zone.
Well, Abe was something special now. You know, you're talking about a classic of all time.
He didn't go very far, but he brought it out of the end zone.
Back to the 10, 12-yard line.
He did. He led the NFL for years in a row, running back kickoff. 1st and 10. Tony Hunter loses the football and goes right into the arms of Jeff Barnes. Barnes still trying to crawl for yardage. Tony Hunter had the ball. It came loose and popped right into the arms of Jeff Barnes. And this has got to be a Raiders night tonight.
Barnes looked like Bilbo Baggins at the end of that run.
Tell you what, Peter Brock made his best move at the end of this play. He did a little slide job right under Sean Jones. Otherwise, Peter may have been back in the Coliseum.
Somebody must have got a hand on this, or did he just throw it away? There it is.
Yep.
It was Stacy Turan, who is improving with almost every game he plays. And Jeff Barnes takes it all the way down to the 12-yard line. Stacy Turan got an opportunity to play a great deal when Mike Davis was hurt, and then McElroy pulled a hamstring, and Turan has really come on. Frank Hawkins, right side. Tucker drags him down at the 5-yard line. Johnny Johnson there to help. They mark it at the 6-yard line. It'll be 2nd down. The Raiders can get another 1st down inside the 2. There's Jeff Barnes. Could give half an interception to Turan. Hawkins got 5. 2nd and 5. distance once again. As Kenny King is also in there, and I think Marcus Allen has perhaps seen his last play of the night. Heading now down to the 2-minute warning. Raiders have one timeout. And they will get a timeout, of course, with the 2-minute warning. And they can go over to the bench and talk strategy with this man, Tom Flores. It looks like he's got a winner tonight. Out a little bit. We hope you'll stick with us. We are going to show you at the end of this game some of the more memorable moments we've had this season on Monday Night Football. And it has been a great year. We're glad you're with us tonight. We hope you've enjoyed a season in which our numbers rose dramatically over a year ago. 3rd down and 4. Hawkins. He's close to a first down. Nolan Cromwell was in there along with Carl Eckern from the Rams. But again, this is a night in which the Rams were playing for pride. Nothing really at stake. They will be meeting the Cowboys after a week off. The Rams now have called timeout. They want to get the football back, and they did not want the Raiders to tick off 30 seconds.
Well, Joe, you said last Friday night when Denver and Seattle was playing, you thought Denver would win because they had to win, and that seems to be the story of the weekend. Every team that really had to win won.
Yeah, I really do believe the motivational factor has a lot to do with football, and the teams that are motivated more than the others do have an edge. But, you know, when you have two fine football teams like this, it could go either way. But I really believe the Raiders, and I think everyone watching tonight have to believe that the Raiders thoroughly outplayed the Rams in every phase of the game. Defensively, offensively, kicking game, they've just done a tremendous job tonight.
Of course, winning the division once again. They won Super Bowl 15 after the 80s season. They brought Jim Plunkett back to win that one for them as a wild card. They beat the Eagles, Super Bowl 18. It was Plunkett once again over Washington, and Plunkett is ready to be activated once again. And I would suspect that going into the playoffs that Jim Plunkett will be activated, particularly because down the line, potentially, they could be running in the Chicago Bears, and the Raiders will not forget the Raiders of a year ago that took out all 3 of their quarterbacks. On 4th down. Oh, Kenny King was really hit. I believe he got the first down.
That's the first down.
A shot in the face.
That's the first down. Kenny would probably say, we didn't really need it. We were up.
Well, they used to play this game without face masks. Now you understand why.
That hurt my head all the way up here. That hurt my head.
What a lick. How about Kenny King's head? Well, they've marked it. They're going to bring out the sticks.
Kenny's saying, forget the sticks. Give it to the Rams.
Be a paramedic.
Kenny looked like a pinball on that one.
Short, and the Rams get the football back at the 2-yard line. Let's take a look at it again. It was a vicious shot right in the chops. Sometimes the one that looks so bad isn't the one that really is harmful.
No, that's just not watching where you're running, because if he's going to cut back, he could have cut back all the way on the tackle there and not gotten tagged.
Give me a break, okay? You look at it in slow motion and tell him how to run it.
Yeah, well, I played a lot of years of ball. I can't recall getting tagged like that.
You wouldn't blame very many getting tagged like that very often. First down, Rams. They trail 16-6. 1:36 remaining in the game. Through timeout. Flag is down. Dieter Brock gets the ball at Tony Hunter over the middle, but again, a flag is down, and if that was holding in the end zone, that's going to be 2 points. It's not. It's a procedure call. And it works against the Rams, however. This ABC Sports exclusive has been brought to you by Ford and your local Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by AT&T and long-distance services, information systems, telephones, and computers, AT&T is the right choice. And by the U.S. Army, a place to be all you can be. Jackie Slater was moving for the Rams, as I'm sure head coach John Robinson did not like to lose this one tonight. You don't like to go into the playoffs on a losing note. John Robinson has been successful wherever he has been, and his first professional job was right here with the Raiders back in 1975 before moving to USC in '76. But John Robinson was a roommate with Tom Flores, an assistant coach with the Raiders at the time.
So, you know, the defensive effort by the Raiders really was a sensational one tonight. These two cornerbacks, Lester Hayes and Mark Haynes, did a job on the outside receivers. Of course, they had a good pass rush from the front of the Raiders, but I haven't seen a wide receiver from the Rams catch the ball yet tonight.
Peter Brock in the end zone. Throws it away. That delay a few moments ago was to reset several seconds on the clock. The intended receiver there was Tony Hunter. It'll be 2nd down and 11. Take a look at the rushing leaders. There's number 1 sitting on the bench. He did it tonight. He needed 84. He got a bunch more. His best year by far. And he's being congratulated. He also tied Walter Payton's record of 9 consecutive 100-yard games. Became the all-time NFL leader from scrimmage, breaking Eric Dickerson's record of a year ago. Quite a night for Marcus Allen. On 2nd down, this is Bobby Duckworth, and Duckworth steps out of bounds at the 10-yard line, short of the 1st down. It'll be 3rd down and 3. Jeff Barnes chasing Duckworth out of bounds there.
Well, Joe, I don't know if I ever told you, one of the most disappointing times of my life was my rookie year. The last AFL All-Star game, you were voted to the game, and I thought I'd get a chance to play with you, and you didn't show up to the game. I guess you had knee problems. I want to say it's been a pleasure being on your team this year.
Thank you, buddy. You know, if I'd have had any good sense at the time, even with knee problems, I should have known all I had to do was give you the football. Heck, I could have played.
Well, I'd have told you.
Tony Hunter, and he'll have the 1st down. Out close to the 25-yard line. Stacey Turan takes Hunter out of bounds, and there is a good look at Marcus Allen. Quiet, unassuming, wonderful young man. He really is.
Well, he's got that ice pack. Looked like he busted his a little of his top lip. Marcus is not going to like that.
Now, why right now do the Rams have Peter Brock in the game? Why do they have people in the game that they're looking to go into the playoffs with 1:17 seconds left on the clock?
Well, maybe they're trying to get rid of him. Don't want to go in the playoffs with
Hey,
him.
what are they trying to prove with Hunter out here catching these sacrifice passes?
Somebody has to catch it out there, Joe.
Well, run the clock then. Let's get ready for the playoffs. Give this game up right now. I'm sorry, but I just say let's get ready for the playoffs.
I agree. What is Dickerson doing out there?
We're in the final minutes of the regular season for both the Rams and the Raiders, and there was contact made before the ball was snapped and the whistles blew. And to tell you that our travel arrangements have been made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. Nobody knows Hawaii like United. And again, immediately following the game, we'd like for you to stay with us. We're going to show you some of the great moments that we've enjoyed and many of you have enjoyed over the course of the season. 52 seconds remaining. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Peter Brock scrambles out of trouble and gets the ball to Dickerson. And Dickerson just shakes off a would-be tackler. James Davis came up there and had a great shot at really putting Dickerson away, and he just bounced off Dickerson.
And Eric, I don't think ever saw Davis, and if Davis would have came around the knees, he'd have been hurt.
Our telecast was presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited.
You know, I guess the players feel that they're going to win together, they're going to hang in there and lose together, but sometimes it doesn't make good sense to me.
3rd down and 3. Brock gets it out to Ellard. Ellard will have a 1st down up at the 49-yard line with 38 seconds remaining. We'll remind you also, February the 2nd from Honolulu, we'll be bringing you the Pro Bowl. And, of course, from the Rams, Marcus Allen will be there. Jackie Slater, Dennis Harrah, who, by the way, announced his engagement yesterday to Teresa Conley. Had lunch with him over at his place, the Legends, and he was out buying a ring. 1st down and 10. Terry Redmond. Redden picks out the first down marker and steps across it for another Ram first down.
James Davis is going to be looking for a job. He continues to do this. That's 2 times he had a speed on the guy with the ball and came up empty-handed.
Dennis Harris' new bride, by the way, was his bartender. How about that?
Wow.
He said she's going into ownership.
He's telling that right.
Quite a lady, Teresa Conley. First and 10 Rams. Peter Brock hits one up for anyone. Out of the end zone.
Well, you got to keep it between the white lines on the playing surface, you know, not off the field. Surface, the same as surface, yes.
Peter Brock really over the past few weeks has kind of come of age. He has answered all the critics very quietly. He said, how are you going to have 300-yard games when you only throw the ball 20 times a game? And that's what the Rams did much of the season. They started to open it up the past couple of weeks. Tonight he's 13 of 24 for 147, but started to open it up, and he has been the hottest quarterback in the league. For the past 4 weeks, his rating is 115.5. So we'll see how it works for the Rams in the playoffs. Brock fires a shot that Lester Hayes had right in the hands, and he is upset. If that's been the problem, he's got a major problem. Brock throws it behind Redden, incomplete.
Back in that first playoff game and play a much better brand of football.
Raiders, of course, will meet the wild card winner of New England and the Jets. The Rams will go on. They'll meet Dallas in the playoffs. Week after next, that's Tony Hunter. 5 seconds remaining. Middle, the Rams deployed 4 wide receivers. That'll be well out of the end zone. And that's the final play of the game. Raiders defeat the Rams 16-6.
Los Angeles Raiders 16. Los Angeles Rams 6. Remind you once again. There's no game without fans.
Final words being expressed. That's a good shot, isn't it, Marcus Allen? They have tried to create so much division between those two, Marcus Allen and Eric Dickerson. It just has not worked. Once again, the Raiders over the Rams 16-6. And it has been quite a year for all of us here on Monday Night Football. We started out in August with the Hall of Fame game, and tonight represents our 24th and final game of the year. Of course, you hear and see the 3 of us, but believe me, behind the scenes, we have some of the most talented people in this business who make it all happen for you. Let's meet them now as we look at some of 1985's